Good evening. Abby Sloan here. I have decided to interview a special education teacher and do that for my podcast. Hello, special education teacher.
Hello, podcaster.
So, what is your name?
My name is Matt Sloan.
Oh, Matt Sloan. Nice
Yeah,
to meet you.
nice to meet you too.
So, you've been a special education teacher for how many years now?
Off and on, well, I guess 6 years in total.
6 years in total.
6 years, yeah.
Would that be all in California?
No, many years in Wyoming.
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 Okay. So, let's see. Would you say that sorry, what type of students do you work with?
Students with emotional disabilities, emotional challenges.
Would you say that they are emotional, behavioral disordered students?
I would say that's exactly the kind of students I work
Great,
with.
great. You know how perfect that is? Because the chapter that we're working on right now actually discusses that. So it's quite pertinent that you work with those kind of students, or the interview would be useless.
Yeah. Well, okay. I'm
Great,
glad to help.
great. So, okay, so do you mind me asking you a few questions?
I don't mind at all.
Wonderful. Okay, so let's see. So, how long of those 6 years? So, you've worked with emotionally disturbed students for 6 years, or
Yes.
you have? Okay. So, what would you say the most difficult part of working with EBD students is?
The most difficult part. Well, there's a lot of challenges working with EBD students with EBD. Besides the paperwork, which is I think the toughest part of working with students. I think working with a lot of with a mixed grade level in one classroom is the toughest. Uh,
Right,
Students with you know very low grade level to an average grade level to sometimes even a higher grade level. And addressing their behaviors at the same time. It's quite can be quite challenging.
right. I suppose you would get that in a normal special education class, but it's just a little bit more exaggerated. Would you say?
Yeah, when
What happened? Cool.
when trying to teach at different levels and addressing behaviors, it can get jumbled and be be quite challenging on some days.
Right. So, what is the ratio you have right now in your classroom?
The amount of students I have are 8. Uh, I have one student at a first grade level and all the way up the line up until 8th grade
Eighth grade. Wow.
level.
So, first grade to eighth grade, you said.
Yeah, they're 7th and 8th grade, but their actual levels are from first, and I have a student maybe at a 5th grade reading level, math level, and the highest student would be 8th grade level.
Wow, that's quite a challenge. Wow. Yes. So, would you say there's quite a lot of paperwork with that then?
Yeah, IEPs mainly.
IEPs.
Yes,
Can you
IEPs.
Can you exaggerate on that? Exaggerate? No, elongate that acronym.
Individual education plan.
Right. And so, when you're dealing with emotionally disturbed or students that are classified as EBD, are you able to adhere to their IEP as much as you would like?
Um, no, no, and not as much as I would like. Mainly the students that I have, their goals written in their IEPs are to address their behavior goals, which are addressed to the fullest because that's if they're not if they're not being addressed, then teaching math and teaching reading are second. But I don't get to address their other academic needs as much as I would like to.
Right. But I mean that is their classification, so that's what they're there for, I take it.
True.
Okay. All right. So, what would you say your classroom philosophy is? Or do you have one?
My classroom philosophy?
Yes.
Yeah, I have a classroom philosophy. I guess my classroom philosophy is students. I try to make the classroom a fun place students want to be. Mostly 90% of the students that I have don't make it are there for a reason. I mean, got kicked out of a general school and are put in this setting for a reason. It's a residential treatment facility. So they don't
Right.
fun- the students that I have are in a residential treatment facility, so they don't function well at all in a general school. So what was the question? Oh,
I've
my
forgotten.
my philosophy. My philosophy.
Your philosophy. I'm not a very good interviewer.
So I try to make the students feel welcome. I want the classroom to be a place students want to come because 90% of the time students aren't comfortable in a classroom setting for many, many reasons. Whether um, they're not good at school, they're scared of being embarrassed, they're scared of peers, social embarrassments. Physically, they need a lot of occupational therapy. A lot of students, and physically, they have a hard time sitting in one place. So I try to make an environment, a place students feel comfortable. And my philosophy is, um, welcome to class. You don't have to work. Um,
You don't have to work? You're a
well,
nice teacher.
no, they don't have to. If they want to earn things, they have to work. But the important thing is that they feel comfortable and they can be in an environment where they feel where we can build esteem, we can build friendships, and more importantly, well, relationships in general, and healthy relationships.
Right, because I think one of the stipulations to being classified as EBD is the inability to build relationships. Is that correct?
Uh, yeah, that usually goes hand in hand. Yes.
Right. Okay. Okay, so what are some effective teaching strategies that you've used in your classroom that you can maybe share with us?
Yelling.
Yelling.
No.
Yelling.
Effective teaching strategies. I like to use a lot of put a positive spin on the language I use. For instance, students have, they're never well, no student should be punished, but they're never nothing's ever taken away. It's if things they have to earn. If they're not doing a good job, if they're not working to the expectation, they cannot earn things. So that's a positive spin on the classroom setting.
Use positive reinforcement.
Well, yes, positive reinforcement.
Okay.
Um, Supplying lots of tokens, praise, reinforcers. Using everything from stickers to after school um, hangouts to, to high fives. High fives work. So just and working on a student's strengths, finding a student something they're good at and exploiting that to the fullest, using it in every way possible to make that student feel like they're good at something and they can move on.
Do your students understand you?
No, not at all. I have a lot of trouble with communication.
Okay, I'm sorry. Going back to the interview. So you said stickers, even though your students are, you said sixth, seventh, or seventh and eighth graders,
Seventh and eighth.
socially and academically they're first graders.
Some.
Stickers still work, do they?
Oh yeah, I've worked with high school students that stickers work. I, I like stickers.
You like stickers?
Yeah, I work for stickers.
All right, I'll remember that when I'm asking you to do housework. All right, so let's see. Do you have some strategies that you would recommend people not use?
Yelling doesn't really work with these students. Losing your patience, although it's very easy and at times, many times, I have trouble keeping my patience. Losing your patience doesn't help. Raising your voice, there's a time for you say a closed fist and an open hand. A closed fist to make a point, but there's also time to use an open hand and to speak softly to a student. Does that make sense? I
It'll do.
don't I
It'll
don't
do.
I don't recommend yelling at your students. That doesn't work.
Okay,
Uh,
so when you do find yourself getting angry or frustrated, what can you do?
Take a break. If time allows, walk away from the situation. These kids know how to push your buttons. But you as the professional have to know. Never take it personally. Never take it personally. Never go home with baggage saying, "Oh, well," but it does happen. But don't take it personally. These kids are not out to get you personally, and I think a lot of people have a hard time let get let pride get in their way and take things too personally,
Right.
and have a hard time.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your time.
That's all the questions.
That's all well, we're only allowed to use 10 minutes,
Oh.
so we have to keep you under those 10 minutes.
Okay.
And since I think about 90% of it they might not be able to hear or understand, it's been a waste of time. No, I'm kidding.
Well,
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right. Bye.
Bye.